Welcome to the 28th episode of Impact Media Presents. I'm Kelly Redmond, your host and the Executive Director of Impact Media and Entertainment Coalition. Today, we have a very special show. We're going to be talking about the LA 57th commemoration of the March on Washington. And joining me today is our lead organizer, Pastor William Smart of the SCLC. How are you, Pastor Smart?
Doing fine, Kelly, and thank you for having me on the show. We're just finishing up a protest, and have this pull aside where they're giving away food somewhere. So right in the hood where I want to be.
Absolutely. And we need you there. So thank you. And, you know, the show must go on as well as the protest must go on. So we got to do both. And we appreciate you for doing double duty today. I'm also going to bring in our other special guest. We've got Emmy, who is the founder of the LA Women's March. She's one of the sponsoring partner organizations along with Impact Media and so many others. Thank you for joining us, Emmy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to jump right in because today it's all about the March on Washington in LA and the national commemoration as well. And we want to plant the seeds early so people can mark their calendar so they can participate. We do have a few live events here in Los Angeles as well as virtual events. And then, of course, everyone can tune into the virtual events nationally. So I always like to start the show by engaging because everyone that we bring on is focused on systemic change and impacting social justice. So just real quickly, Pastor Smart and Emmy, tell us, why you do this work.
Well, all my life since I was 8 years old, I was involved with ministering in the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I felt it was a lifetime acclimation to come into this work following my mentor, Dr. Martin Luther King, all of these years. And to run his organization now is the joy of my life because it's the commemoration of his life and what he did, the movement did, and what we still have to do today. The work, I clearly get that the work is not finished, and we see that each and every day, Kelly, that the work is
absolutely
the same issues are going on today.
The absolute same issues, right? Emmy and I were talking about that earlier. It's a shame that we're still focused on the same issues, and even though there's been some progress over the years, they're at risk now and have been, for a while, and we've got to continue to fight and stay focused. Emmy, tell us why you do this work.
Oh my goodness. We talked a little bit earlier.
My Chicago homegirl.
Right. I mean, I grew up in Chicago. I grew up where segregation was very much a part of the culture, and
absolutely.
Growing up as an immigrant, poor, and pretty much out of option forces you to fight and forces you to
absolutely.
Continue to stand up and fight. I mean, I grew up learning about Dr. King's crusade in Chicago to end the ghettos and slums and improve the living conditions in Chicago. And what people called slums and ghetto for us, that was our community. And
yes.
I mean, what was taught to me was, you know what, we got to continue to fight and have our voices heard. And I've always grown up with that.
Absolutely.
So it's a must. When you're Black and brown, you have no choice. You got to fight.
Absolutely. Same for me. This has been a lifelong commitment and journey. I had parents who were pioneers in fighting for equity, diversity, and inclusion, and it's a part of my DNA. And so this is who I am, and I'm committed to it as long as I'm here. And I'm grateful to have had some mentors along the way that tied me very closely to Dr. King. So it's a privilege and an honor to be involved and committed to this work. So Pastor Smart, why don't you kick us off and tell us about this incredible lineup that we have scheduled in LA on August 28th?
Well, okay. Let me start by saying that, we have, as usual, this is our not 10th, but we've been doing this since 2013. So this is our 7th year of having some type of activities around the March on Washington. And this year, when when Al Sharpton called for it, it was just in line with what we already do, and it is an extraordinary year with the death of George, and all the other brothers and sisters that have been killed.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
we are starting off Monday. There's going to be a town hall dealing around Proposition 209, how we're trying to get rid of that through Prop 13 now. And our Asian American brothers and sisters are going to be leading that with the Los Angeles Labor Center and others. And
So,
that's
Pastor
Monday
Smart,
night.
let me just make sure. So you said Monday night is around the
Yes, ma'am.
Prop 16, correct? Around repealing Prop 209. Okay,
Right.
just want to make
Yes.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, right. And then, so that's Monday night. Tuesday, we're working on something with the National Union, the National Postal Service unions, and the local unions here to focus on the U.S. postal system. What's going on, voting and different things like that, how the mail coming out. And so we're calling that the oppressing the U.S. mail system by the Trump administration. So we'll be doing that. Wednesday, we'll be participating with Black Lives Matter and Clergy for Black Lives at their weekly Jackie Lacey Must Go. Thursday, the educational, where the educational women in SCLC and some others are coming together with ACLU, and we're going to be talking about black males and how in the education system and how we have to overcome that. Friday, first of all, from 12 to 10, there'll be a caravan starting at the corner of Obama and La Brea and coming on into Leimert Park. And the caravan, then it transitions into a rally. And from around 1 to 2, we're going to have speakers talking about voting, talking about the system, talking about police brutality, talking about the propositions. That's important. We're going to have people there, and you'll be able to get information about the various propositions and how you can participate in there with the organization. Then that evening is from 7 to 9. We're going to have a virtual program, and during that program, we're going to be honoring C.T. Vivian, John Lewis, Congresswoman Maxine Waters will come on, and she will honor John Lewis and speak in her own way. We'll have a couple of other speakers. We'll have a speaker around this past week. We have the 75th anniversary of Social Security and things like that. Issues that are really affecting people. So during that thing, we'll talk about reparations and a lot of things during those 2 hours.
Absolutely.
That's it.
No, that's it. That's a lot. There's a lot of great activity going on. And as you know, the three of us have been working along with a whole host of others to make this, this 57th commemoration, very special, engaging all aspects of, our community and what makes LA unique. We are engaging and talking to social activists in Hollywood to be a part of it. The Black Greek organizations, the Divine Nine, they're working on coming out to help at the rally, and possibly the caravan to help with voter registration at the rally and learn more about becoming a poll worker, and about the absentee ballot process and the mail-in voting. And for all of the Divine Nine or anyone who wants to volunteer, you can show up, at Leimert Park. Yeah. Ask for Sandy Cook. She will be there looking for help. And those who need to register to vote, we want you to come out. Those who need to complete their census, you can come and actually do your census there in Leimert Park. So we will be observing and practicing social distancing while we're out there, wearing masks and gloves and all, taking every precaution.
Kelly, one of the things that the city has cautioned me about is that,
Mhm.
because they really didn't want us to do this, but there are certain precautions we have to take, and those precautions lead to masks. And if you don't mind me, I picked up the masks. There they are, the hand
Okay,
sanitizers, the masks,
that's
everything
right.
that we're ready to go to buy. We're going to have tape. The area's going to be taped off where you'll know where to stand and all of that.
Absolutely. So we do need a few good volunteers, but those who do need to register to vote and do need to complete their census and may not be able to do it online, we encourage you to come out uh, to get it taken care of on this very special day. And I'd like to talk to Emmy a little bit right now. Emmy is one of the partners in the Women's March LA. I want to hear from you, your involvement, with the commemoration activities, why it's important to you, and encouraging others. And it's not too late. We're still looking for other partner organizations to support,
Right.
participate in the caravan, etc. And
It's never
especially
too
for
late.
yes,
Yes, it's never too late for organizations to participate, but it's also never too late to also volunteer. I think that the efforts this year need to be in greater numbers. I think where we are in 2020 requires us to participate. Bring your mask, bring your gloves. I mean, I was helping the committee with the Elf Sharpton March on Washington that's going to happen in Lincoln Park. And Pastor Smart and I spoke about this last October. And I said, what are we doing here? And, then COVID hit in March and we didn't know how to move forward. But the fact that people and organizations have stepped up and said, let's do a caravan, let's volunteer, let's figure out how to mobilize our people to fill out the census, how to mobilize to register to vote, and even find out information on the vote by mail ballots or the harvest voting. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but the harvesting of ballots is something that you can do in California, which means that nonprofits can collect ballots from people that cannot take them to the polls or send them out via mail. So there's a lot of things that we can do as an organization. What I am going to say, and I'm always going to say, this takes money. So if you're an organization that cannot show up but can, participate by sending $100, by sending $50, I mean, everyone is needed. There's a lane for everybody. There's a lane for everyone. We will practice precautions. As you can see, the masks are there. But I do want to say that, 57 years of this is critical, that we continue this struggle, that we continue this fight, and that Dr. Martin Luther King was right in that we must demand equity. And like I said, growing up, I grew up in Chicago, and knowing that he was fighting at the time for, stopping the low wage paying jobs, the overcrowded schools, and the segregated neighborhoods. And here we are. And so I think it's an honor that all of us are coming together on this day in LA to make sure that that doesn't continue. So there's a lane for everybody. Participate. Go to SCLC website, go on Facebook. There's something for all of us to do, and it's going to take all of us to fight the inequity.
Absolutely. I do want to take a moment. You mentioned, Pastor Smart, that our Congresswoman Maxine Waters is going to do a special tribute to Congressman John Lewis. And then Pastor Smart is actually going to do a tribute to Reverend Joe Lowry, who ran SCLC for many years. And I'm privileged and honored to do the tribute to Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian, who was my mentor for 32 years prior to his passing. And I'm excited to share that. I have the actual program from his his obituary and services. And what a lot of people don't know, if you can see this in the congressional record on the the 13th of July. I'm going to bring Pastor Smart back in.
So I
Pastor
don't know
Smart, that's okay. We were just talking about some of the tributes, and I was sharing some of from Dr. Vivian's obituary in the special memory book that I'm going to be pulling my tribute from for the commemoration during the virtual town hall. But many people don't know, just days before Dr. Vivian and Congressman Lewis passed away, Congressman Lewis actually did a special reading and a tribute to Reverend C.T. Vivian on the congressional floor on July 13th. And it's a beautiful, beautiful tribute just days before they both passed away. So it's a very sentimental time. You know, we are all grieving and mourning the loss of three tremendous civil rights giants of our time. And the mantle has been passed on to the rest of us to carry this work forward. And we have promised to do that, and we will. And we need others to join us, you know, in the fight. And we definitely have a fight on our hands. We're very grateful.
Kelly,
Pardon?
please tell us the relationship you have with C.T. Vivian. That's important.
Oh, sure. So I was fortunate enough to meet uh, C.T. Vivian when I was a junior in college. I had actually done a case study on how Drake could improve the quality of life for students of color. And really, it became the diversity plan for the university, and it included training. And they brought CT and his company, Basic Diversity, to do his race awareness workshop, the one that was featured on the Oprah Winfrey Show for 2 consecutive days, the first time they'd ever had a guest on for 2 days prior. And so in the middle of the workshop, he stopped and he said, "Sister Delta, you want to do this, don't you?" And I said, "I do." And he said, "You will." And 10 years later, I mean, literally 10 years later, he invited me to come to do the workshop. And I was one of, besides his son and the woman who assisted him for 40 years, I was the only person to assist him in doing the workshop. We actually did it in Chicago, Emmy. We went to work with InterVarsity, the Christian organization, and did it with their leadership there. Incredible, you know, experience. He's been, you know, adopted father. He's a mentor, friend, and such a huge loss for me and for my daughter and all who knew and loved him. Was very fortunate. He dedicated his life, you know, to the movement and also to the development of men. A lot of men. He started his institute for young men and for boys. I'm fortunate to be one of. There's some really bad background noise. I've been fortunate enough to be, you know, one of the young women allowed to be close and adopted by the family. He's just had such an impressionable impact, you know, on my life, and he supported me and always encouraged me to move forward with Impact Media when things were quiet and slow. And one of the reasons I remain committed is because he believed in it and believed in me to do it. And so I'm going to do it as long as I can. So.
Good.
Thank you.
I have one afternoon. You know, I assumed the role of president in January 2013, and one afternoon my phone rang, and it was him on the phone, and he said congratulations, and he said immediately change our name from LA to Southern California and take on everywhere from Fresno down to San Diego. I said, wow. And he said, yes. You know, he was the acting president then. And
yes, it's amazing.
We had a long conversation, but I knew as I was a new president, I knew he had my back right off, and I respect and love that. Now, I had met him years earlier at events and with SCLC and the civil rights community, but that was the first one-on-one like that. And then that February, we also got together for a meeting of all of the chapters in Atlanta.
I thought it was pretty incredible that he was brought on to do that in his late 80s. I mean, but that leadership and that knowledge and wisdom just, you know, stood the test of time. And one thing that he said even at his 95th birthday celebration last year that he was going to continue to fight every single day of his life. And he did that. And not too many people can say that they stayed in and stayed engaged for that long a period of time. So 95, almost just shy of 96 years is incredible.
Kelly, can I also talk about something else that's going on right now?
Sure.
I think that the current Democratic National Convention that's taking place, and
Absolutely.
we having Kamala Harris. Now that lady right there, Emmy, was one of the women way back. It was her and Ron Herrera of the County Federation of Labor. She said that it was going to be.
We're losing you.
We're losing.
She said that, and
we didn't hear you, Pastor Smart. Can you say it one more time? Can you say it one more time?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
She said, Emmy said back in October, we need a Biden-Harris ticket. She said that in October. That's what we need. That's what it's going to be. And she and some quiet behind the background have had something to do with this. And I'm not going to say what she did that was significant, but it brought it apart. So right now, one of the things that has inspired me, Kelly, is the fact that what the Democratic Party has done these first two nights, the display of African Americans, the display of Brown and Latino Americans, the display of diversity, not aside from the sharp criticism on the current office holder at the White House, but all of the positivity things that has been said and the diversity that I see and we all see lets us know that this is going to be a very serious election. They're going to be serious. They're going to be doing some real off the edge types of electoral politics to ensure that we get a new president in there.
Absolutely. And we are committed to doing all we can to get the vote out and, to continue to support. I love the fact that she engaged so many, gave shout outs to, her sorority, the Divine Nine, and, HBCUs and, all of, the power that exists, in the grassroots community and everywhere. We're going to see a change. And, but it's up to us to, not get comfortable and to not take anything for granted, but we definitely have to, get out and get the vote out. And we've been doing it and we're turning it up officially next, from now, and through next week and all the way up to November 3rd. So
we have 76 days. We have 76 days to get this together. I mean,
absolutely.
This woman's leadership will lead the way. And I'm going to say it, women are carrying this ticket. Kamala's carrying this ticket, and we need to acknowledge that. We need to acknowledge that, that we will all rally around her because she is what we need right now. And Pastor Smart and I spoke last year when she was running for president and she, ended her campaign. We said we got to find a spot for her. This woman is a leader and the community will rally around her. And so, here we are. We got to mobilize the vote in November, and we're just super excited about that.
Absolutely. So thank you.
Kelly,
go ahead,
Kelly,
Pastor Smart.
You emphasize it. You emphasize something very important. See, there were certain buzzwords not politics, I'm just saying candidates say to let you know the emphasis, let you know that you're a part of this thing. Her buzzwords was Delta, AKA the Divine Nine, HBCU. See, she's automatically going after those people who ordinarily would say, well, Biden was to this or Biden was to that, who all the last year was very critical of him. She comes in and automatically lets you know that what's going to happen and what a focus focus is going to be on. And I happen to know some of the things that are, and you probably, that are beginning to happen. Those AKAs are on the ground in a powerful way.
Everybody's on the ground, and taking not just pride, but taking charge to ensure that we do all that we can, to make a change. So we have to be a little careful as a nonprofit. And
Yes,
on these, I was trying to not get this one suppressed, but it probably will. You know how on social media, certain live streams and programming is being suppressed as it relates to politics and social justice and activism for the Black community. Oh, well, we'll just make sure it gets out to the folks that we can get it out to. But I'm so glad that you both were able to come on today to kick things off with Impact Media. We're partners with you in the fight, and looking forward to next week, as well as all the future activities to come leading up to the 3rd, and beyond. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. And I want to say that my mom said that she's a mamala for Kamala. She's ready. She signaled the moms. I'm like, we're ready.
Awesome.
Man.
Yeah. I will say this in closing. It just broke my heart. I mean, many of us, there was no dry eye watching Kamala last night. One of the things that made it exceptionally hard was just to see her speaking, to an empty room. For this to be such a historic time, and to see her speak to an empty room. But I think the party did an incredible job of bringing her family in to, introduce her, and having, voters across America to cheer and celebrate for her, doing the best that we can in these very, very difficult and challenging times. It should not be this way. And poor leadership got us here. But exceptional leadership will carry us forward. And we've got to ensure that that happens. So thank you both.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And we will be in touch.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All righty. We'll be talking real soon. Continuing the organizing. Okay. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us. It's, again, really exciting time, an incredibly challenging time, and we need everyone involved and engaged. Thank you so much for your support of me and Impact Media. On Monday, it will be our 7-year anniversary for Impact Media and Entertainment Coalition. We're having a very special celebration on Sunday. If you would like information on that, you can email Redmond at impact-enterprises.org. I've been flashing this banner. If you want more information on the LA March on Washington, you can email me, as well as for press inquiries, you can email Cherry at the email address below. So a lot of exciting things happening next week on Impact Media Presents. We have 2 very special shows. On Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, we will have Dr. Janetta Cole, the president and national chair of the NCNW, as well as the executive director, Janice Mathis. So the National Council for Negro Women. That's on Monday. And then on Tuesday, and we're still confirming the time, but it's a go, it's approved. We're going to have Dr. Bernice King of the King Center. And both shows will be talking about what each organization is doing, NCNW and the King Center, and how you can get engaged. This is continuing our conversation of where do we go from here? It'll be where do we go from here? National women leaders. We were trying to get them all together as a part of the July 1st show, but because of calendars, we're spreading it out. But they're going to be power packed, and both organizations are also tied into the National March on Washington. So you'll learn a lot more about how to get engaged there as well. So excited, so grateful, so blessed. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Take care and have a great rest of the week and weekend. And hope to see you at our special event on Sunday, the 23rd, from 4 to 6 p.m. 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific. Thank you. Bye-bye.